Honorable Dr. Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba, Minister of Finance, Honorable Ministers present, the Regional Commissioner of Dar es Salaam, the Honorable Governor of the Bank of Tanzania, who is also Chairperson of the National Council for Financial Inclusion, Permanent Secretaries present, Principal Secretaries from the Revolutionary Government of Zanzibar, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Heads of Diplomatic Missions and Diplomatic Development Partners present, Senior Government Officials, Private Sector Leaders, our distinguished clergy and religious leaders from the Christian Council of Tanzania, the Tanzania Episcopal Conference and BAKWATA, Defense and Security Committee members from Dar es Salaam region, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, I wish to welcome you all to this very important event. Karibuni sana. I'm also delighted and honored to launch the third National Financial Inclusion Framework for the year 2023 to 2028 on behalf of Her Excellency the President. The launch of this framework is a key milestone in the development of our financial sector. And I want to thank the Minister of Finance from both the mainland and Zanzibar, as well as the Governor of the Bank of Tanzania and Chairman of the National Council for Financial Inclusion, as well as the organizing team for really excellent arrangements of this event. Allow me to recognize and commend in a very special way three individuals. One, of course, is the champion of financial inclusion in the country, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. But together with her, I want to recognize two long-term friends of Tanzania, Her Majesty Queen Maxima of the Netherlands and Dr. Alfred Hanning, the Executive Director of Alliance for Financial Inclusion, and I do so for their profound contribution to our various initiatives on financial inclusion in Tanzania. Excellencies and distinguished participants, I want to commend very highly those who participated in preparing the video. In short, it says it all in terms of the challenges ahead of us on the road to financial inclusion in Tanzania. Equally, I sincerely congratulate the panelists for great insights on the progress we have made so far on financial inclusion and how to move forward. Natamani sana kama uzinduzi wote huu ungekuwa kwa Kiswahili, maana lugha nayo sio jumuishi na hasa kwa walengwa. Lakini basi nitaendelea hivyo hivyo. Excellencies and distinguished participants, Financial inclusion is among the important drivers of socio-economic development, and more so in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, where income inequality has escalated to a great extent, with differences between the rich and the poor, the financially included and the financially excluded becoming increasingly obvious. And in very specific terms, financial inclusion is key to integrating the unbanked into the formal economy, which helps to elevate poverty, to alleviate poverty, make the poor less vulnerable to financial shocks, broaden the tax base, stimulate public spending, and raise the living standards for all. Excellencies and distinguished participants, as we have heard, in Tanzania, financial inclusion is among the top priorities of our reform agenda and constitutes a key objective of the National Development Vision 2025, as well as the National 5-Year Development Plan. I'm happy to note that implementation of the second 5-year financial inclusion framework recorded very good results, as we have heard, with greater evolution of access to finance by Tanzanians. For instance, the national average of people living within 5 kilometers from formal financial services, they have increased to 89% in 2023 from 86% in 2017. And in some urban areas, we are told we have achieved inclusion by 100%. And according to the FinScope survey of this year, the number of the adult population using banking services has increased from 16.7% in 2017 to 22.2%. And this is closely moving towards the 33% target we set ourselves for 2025-2026. And overall, the survey has showed that the use of formal financial services among adults of age 16 and above has increased to 76% in 2023 from 65.3% in 2017, with the gap between men and women narrowing to 3% in 2023 compared to 10% in 2020. The rapid developments in financial inclusion had positive impact on growth of the financial sector, as the Minister did point out, which recorded growth rate of 9.1% in 2022 compared to a contraction of 2.7% in 2017. And I must say I'm very glad that these notable achievements are a result of public and private sector collaborative efforts. Excellencies and distinguished participants, despite the achievements attained in expanding financial inclusion in the country, the remaining major challenge is to fully include the entire economically active population to access and use formal financial services. And for instance, in rural areas, only less than 10% of the adult population has access to formal banking services. And the underlying existing barriers to access and usage of formal financial services, as we have been told, include the lack of universal access to national IDs, that would have facilitated ease of opening financial service accounts. Inadequate access to fixed collateral and alternative affordable collaterals for assessing and expanding credit to underserved population. There is also onerous process for business formalization, an affordable cost of financial services that includes high interest and non-interest rate charges, and unfriendly environment for women, youth, and people with disability. It is for these reasons that today we are launching the third National Financial Inclusion Framework for the period 2023 to 2028 that will, I hope, create the impetus for addressing economic challenges facing our citizens. Financial inclusion is a very important pillar that should be given due consideration if we are to ensure that no one is left behind. Excellencies and distinguished participants, in order to ensure that more economically active Tanzanians are included in formal financial services, I would like to emphasize to the distinguished audience here and other stakeholders to focus on the following, but I must emphasize harnessing on technology. First, I think is to ensure that the set targets in the third National Financial Inclusion Framework are achieved by the end of 2028, and I think we'll do so, especially if we direct efforts at addressing financial inclusion needs of the disproportionately underserved segments, i.e. women, youth, micro, small and medium enterprises, people with special needs, farmers and fishermen. And these efforts will complement the initiatives being implemented under the Tanzania Generation Equality Program. Second, in collaboration with the Ministry of Home Affairs, I think we need to ensure universal access to national identification and expand the scope of access to the national identification from birth. I believe this will facilitate expansion of access to formal financial services to the youth, including those under the age of 18. Third, I think we need to strengthen financial consumer protection, particularly against cyber crimes and market malpractices, to build consumer trust and confidence in using financial services. Fourth, I think we need to reduce the cost of accessing and using formal financial services and developing regulatory frameworks and systems to enhance use of and expanded scope of collateral for easy access to credit. Finally, I think we need to increase efforts to extend affordable shared payments infrastructure to enhance the use of formal financial services. But in tandem, there is greater need to enhance universal connectivity, reduce reliance on use of cash transactions, and expand efficiency and competitiveness of the financial sector in Tanzania. Excellencies and distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to commend our development partners for continued support and collaboration in our journey to achieve holistic financial inclusion in Tanzania. Let me also express Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan's resolve and full commitment to support implementation of the National Financial National Financial Inclusion Framework for 2023 to 2028. And maybe finally, may I take this opportunity to direct the Minister of Finance, United Republic of Tanzania, and the Minister of Finance of Zanzibar to work together and rise up to the challenge posed by our friend Tony. So with these remarks, I thank everyone present at this very important event, and I'm now ready to officially launch the National Financial Inclusion Framework for 2023 to 2028. I thank you for your kind attention.
Asante, makofi mengi sana. Tusimame kwa heshima na taadhima.